welcome to inside my art studio for April 2017. It's a rainy day. Hopefully you can hear this before the thunder and lightning start kicking in. For those of you who have followed me for a while, you know that I have an ever-changing studio. Lots of stuff goes on in here. It changes all the time. I have a little bit of an echo going on just because I just recently moved a bunch of furniture around, so it's kind of almost empty compared to usual, which is kind of funny because it's very full. But we'll start over here at this side. I want to kind of go through my studio this month for April 2017 and show you kind of what's happening and what status, why everything got moved around and what I'm doing. It changes frequently depending on workshops, depending on what artwork I'm doing or staging, whether I'm teaching individual students or whether I'm getting ready for whatever I'm getting ready for, competitions or whatever. So today it got kind of cleaned up because I'm getting ready for staging our house to sell, because I'll be moving to Austin, Texas in the summer, hopefully, as soon as the house sells. And by this time next year, I hope to have a really large studio on a large piece of property, and a studio that can be also converted to a workshop so that I don't have to rent workshop space or use community buildings. So here is, to start with, over on this side, this is just my shelf where I keep all my odds and ends that don't necessarily need every day. I have all kinds of everything from extra erasers, sharpeners, whatever, for workshops, cases to put my CDs in when I create CDs for workshops, pan pastel, extra sponges, just whatever, fixatives, things that, sorry, trying to hold my phone, do the video, and talk and maneuver and manipulate these baskets. I still have some of my old hole punches and things that I use for scrapbooking, which don't really need until after I get moved, but they're stashed away, so I wasn't worried about it. So I keep all my extra materials in all of this area. I have on top this big jar that I keep all of my pan pastel sponges that really need to be washed, but even when they wash, they look like this anyway. So this is where I keep them, in a big jar, so that I can easily just reach in and grab a sponge if I need one for my pan pastels. I'm kind of strange, so I like to keep like kind of weird stuff sitting around my art studio. I still have some of my sewing materials up there because even though I put my sewing stuff in storage until after we move, some of my jewelry making stuff, I just decided not to go to the trouble to take it all off the wall and patch the holes until after we've sold. This is my shrink wrap machine, and I need it out all the time because whenever I make prints, I shrink wrap them on foam core board, so I need the shrink wrap film and the heat machine to be out all the time. Sealing machine. This is my Epson Stylus Pro 3880. I've talked about this in past videos. I use this to print all my high quality giclée prints. I've got a couple of small prints here. This is one that I did of the larger drawing of my daughter Jessica, and my charcoal also of my son's girlfriend Brenna. And this is one of the prints of Sylvie Grace. The original is actually being framed right now. So I print them and then I hang them to dry for a couple days before I put them in shrink wrap. They should always at least be set aside or hanging or somewhere, just to make sure they're really good and cured before you put them in the shrink wrap. So I've left some of this stuff on the wall over there just because I don't really want to have to plug holes. So I left it, even though I could pack it up and put it away. This big table, which I've showed every video so far, it is always going to be in my art studio. It rotates around on wheels, all four wheels. It can go out in the middle of the room. It has another side just like this side. This side is currently being used to house all of my paper, my 9x12 paper for my workshops, for teaching or for doing any of my own 9x12 art work. And it's all Stonehenge paper, and I have it labeled by colors. So it's really easy for me to pull it out. You can see that I'm out of warm white, and I actually lost my label for my white, so I need that. But I try to keep it all organized. The pan pastels, this turned out to be a really good place to keep all my extra pan pastels. Yes, I have a lot. I use them for workshops and as well as for my own art. So I pull them out usually as a community. There's the thunder. As a community thing for my workshop so everybody can kind of use them. And I'll be doing that at my April workshop, the last weekend of April. I'll have a Draw What You See workshop, and I still have some spaces open for that if you're in Texas and you want to come to it, or if you want to fly in, I have space for it. But we'll be pulling out the pan pastels and working with those as well. On the top, I have my very large light box that I like. I don't really use it a lot because most of my print outs or most of my pieces that I need to lay out a composition for are small, not giant. But I still use portions of it if I don't necessarily use the whole thing. But you just press this little button here and it goes to a lot of levels, and when you're looking through the phone it gets that little flashy thing that doesn't happen when you're looking at it not through a phone camera. But anyway, it's a really good light box. I highly recommend a large one because it'll accommodate pretty much anything you need to do. I have my Artograph projector that's on this stand, and you can watch my videos whenever I show you how I work that. I do that every time I start a new drawing, well, most of the time, especially if it's a person that I'm drawing. I use the Artograph to project down, and I usually have to move or I always have to move this. This is my cutting board. It's very large, so I can cut down all of my different prints. Try not to move my camera too much to make you dizzy. Over here I have an actual sewing table. It spins around on wheels, but I'm actually using it for other things. So I've got some extra markers and the glassine paper I put on the ribbon roll. This is for ribbon, but I put the glassine paper on there that I use for keeping my hand from smudging my art. On top I got these 2 bins and all these little plastic bins that come from IKEA. They're really nice. They have like, I'll show you kind of the inside if I can do this here. This is not too heavy to move with my hand. This little guy, because I like to keep this kind of weird stuff around. It has a top like this, so you can actually use this for putting little things, which I have not even started using them yet. You can just put the little things in the top, and then you can store, I've got big paper that I store down there, but you can put all kinds of little things on top. I just haven't gone through my rest of my room yet, so I'll find some things to store in those. But those are really nice, and I got them from IKEA. I like them because this art studio has got a lot of white in it, so I just like it because it blends really nice. Now on this side, I have turned this into my supply station now. I always have a place where I can keep all of my pencils. This is pretty much my Faber-Castell corner, but yes, there's other brands as well. This is the table that I showed in my last month's video I got from IKEA. It folds down, both sides folds down, and it has drawers on both sides. So I have my monochrome set that I'm going to be doing one of my workshops for Art of the Carolinas. I have that on top. I have my pastels that I'm going to be doing, and I also use for teaching for my art students. I have markers, India ink from Faber-Castell, Copic markers, and my Lyra pencils over here, and a few miscellaneous items. And then on this side, I have the 2 Faber-Castell cases that I got directly from Faber-Castell, compliments of Faber-Castell, and I keep all my pencils in it. A lot of these pencils are my extra stash, but a lot of them are also going to be used for the workshop at Art of the Carolinas. I also have drawers full of them for Art of the Carolinas because Faber-Castell donated the pencils for all the students that signed up for the workshop there. Up here I have these clips that I will be hanging my art. My framer just picked up several pieces, but when I have stuff to stage, I hang it up there so she can be ready to come get it and take it and frame it. On the top I have extra materials. Yes, it looks like I have a lot. These are my giveaways. These were in trade for some work that I did for Faber-Castell. They often ask me how I want to be paid, and I usually just tell them to send me pencils. So they send me cases of pencils so that I'll never run out of pencils that way. I can keep doing my artwork. I have more graphite pencils from Faber-Castell, pastels from Faber-Castell. I have various products, Derwent pastels and Derwent color pencils, I believe. And then I have Caran d'Ache stuff, some charcoal. Most of my charcoal's right here. I have the Faber-Castell charcoal I use the most, and then I have the Derwent drawing charcoal pencils and then charcoal pencils by Derwent. And then I have all my Vine charcoal here. So a few more extra Faber-Castell Polychromos pencils and Lyra pencils there. Extra large charcoal. So I have the charcoal there because this is my charcoal table. And as you can see, I haven't made any more progress on my drawing of my son-in-law. I will be doing another video this month to show you more. A lot of people missed the first eye, so I'll be doing the eye and more of the skin tone in the top part of the hair for the next video for other medium. And I'll also include some different other medium this month. Up here in the windowsill, I cleaned it all out because I wanted it to look more open for staging the house. I had a lot of stuff up there that I just packed up. Now I've got just extra brushes, gel pens, and these are my Tombow Mono Zero eraser refills. Absolutely need those all the time. I love my Tombow Mono Zero eraser, so I use those. This little guy's just hanging out because I told you I like kind of weird stuff in my art studio. And then over here, oh yeah, this desk is also really convenient. It lays flat or opens up as big as I need it to be. It's really nice. I don't have my camera in here today. I will put it back in here. It's on a large camera boom so that I put it up here and it swivels to video whatever I'm doing on whichever table I'm on. So that was in last month's video, and I'll put it out there again in next month's video, but I don't have it in here. It's in my oil painting room right now. So this is a green tray I found on Amazon, and I found these IKEA white organizing things, and I put them under that. I thought that looked a little cleaner and neater for staging the house instead of just having stuff down there. And yes, I like to chew gum, and these are gum balls, believe it or not. They look like tennis balls, but they are gum balls. And I like to chew gum when I draw, so it just keeps me focused. And then these are my from Totally Tiffany pencil holders, and I organize all of my Polychromos. It's like a place to know which pencils that I have in stock. If I am out of one of them, which this one I was out of, Warm Gray 6, if I'm out of one there, it means I don't have any over here in my stock. So I need to order that. But I think they just came in. I need to check that. And so whenever it does come in, I will put one back in here. That way I can always know that I have all 120 pencils of Faber-Castell's Polychromos. I have a few extra Derwent pencils here as well, right here. But for the most part, that's all my Polychromos stock, so I know what I have. And they look pretty. And if I ever need one in a really quick hurry, I know I don't have to go through all of these to try to find where my pencil is. So, or actually these. So, right next to that, I have these little rolling bins, and I love these little bins, and I have these extra hanging things around the side. And what I do is when I'm going to draw, I will pull whatever pencils I need and put them in these bins as my working pencils and rotate that little table around so that I can have it right next to me when I'm drawing. Now, up on top of these two drawers that also came from IKEA, and you can easily roll this out of the way to get to those, which is why I really like these rolling carts. I have a lot of pencils that are not used frequently at all, but you never know. Sometimes I need them or I need a certain type of pencil. So I will grab one of those. So I like having those all readily available off my measuring tapes and miscellaneous. My rolling, oops, there's my dog. My rolling light. And then my rolling cart goes back over here. This rolling cart actually has mostly my Albert Dürer pencils, and that's over here now because I'm using Albert Dürer for this pencil drawing. But the actual working cup, you can see, is right here. The working cup are the pencils that I'm actually using for this particular drawing. That's one of my workshops for Are the Carolinas. And I just did that as my other medium for last month. And I'll be having a speed drawing of that pretty soon, but that's the one I'm going to be teaching at Are the Carolinas in November in Raleigh. And so I'm working on that one because I have to give them the finished picture. That's one of 3 workshops I'll be teaching. I also have my Derwent battery operated erasers and my sandpaper handy here. This side is pretty much all my Polychromos pencils for using for work in progress. I just finished Evie. My daughter, it's the Sweet 16 piece, and so I have it covered in glassine paper. I cover it, especially when I'm using charcoal in the room, because I want to make sure that nothing lands on it or settles or damages it. So I keep it kind of covered when I'm not using it. Plus, sometimes if I look at it, I will be tempted to sit down and start drawing again. So I just keep it covered. But all these pencils were in these working cups, the ones that I was using for this drawing. So now when I start a new drawing, I'll pull out the pencils that I need for the new drawing and put them in these cups and have an area to actually work and not have to just drag from all of these pencils. I'll have just the ones I'm using for whatever particular section, and then I'll put them back. So at the end of every drawing, I reorganize all of my pencils by color. So that's this little area here. Up on top here, I have even more pencils. Those are my Derwent Color Soft, my ink tints. I have some Staedtler pencils. I have various pencils that are not used frequently, so I keep them up there, but occasionally I need like one pencil or two. Let's see, what else? Every time I'm sure I miss stuff, but then I get it in the next month inside my art studio video. So my desk, my Mac Pro, and my large screen and my iMac. I use these for making all my video production frequently. I decided not to remove all these things on the wall, even though I'm not really using them for sewing and ribbon, and I'm not making jewelry right now, but it was going to have to plug a lot of holes. I already have to plug one there before people start looking at the house. So I just decided to leave my display of Color Pencil magazine, all my different things up there for now. I may decide to make it look a little cleaner and organize it better. So this is pretty much pared down to the basics. It's what I could eliminate in my room and still have a functional art studio where I can continue to teach my students. I have 2 students that come now weekly, and I need to be able to teach them. I need to have one free desk, so I usually have to move one piece of art of mine when they come on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So, but this is as much as I could pretty much pare it down. Next month it'll change again because I'll have another amount of stuff that's going on. We have showings that are going to be happening, so I'm going to want to put some artwork up here, just because I think if people come into this room and they see this house for sale, I can see them, wondering what that is up there and what this room is used for. I don't want there to be any doubt. I don't know that there can be with all these pencils, but I'm going to hang a few pieces of my either prints or finished work that needs to be framed up there. So other than that, I may eliminate a few more things. I haven't decided if I'm going to store the desk here or not. Just depends. I am going to probably discontinue both of my students that come on Tuesday and Thursdays starting May 15th, because the house is going to be for sale. Lots of showings are going to be happening, and I want to be able to have it very nice and clean and not be in the middle of teaching a student when someone comes to check out the house. So that a few things will change next month. I'll have my camera in here because I'll be doing a lot of videos. I'll have different work in progress. And every month I always come up with some new type of organizing thing. I have a habit of reorganizing. I absolutely love organizing, putting things in order, figuring out the best way to do things. I'm looking forward to the new studio in Austin. And y'all keep following me because it's going to be incredible when I finally get to either build or find one that already has a studio on the property that fits all of my needs. So anyway, check back next month and I'll show a little more details. And like I said, every month I miss something. So if there's something in here that I didn't talk about that you kind of want to know where I got it or what I'm doing with it or how I use it, feel free to ask questions on this video. And then I'll try to detail it out and talk more about whatever it is you saw that you were wanting to know about. Sometimes I don't really know exactly what you want to know about inside my studio. So I just give you a peek, tell you what's going on, and then you're welcome to ask me questions. Okay, thanks a lot.